Good morning. Welcome to Mornings on TV with Luann and Tim. He's Tim.
She's Luann.
Yeah. I want to get that straight.
It's cloudy and rainy.
Ooh, did you hear the rain overnight?
I actually did. I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning because I heard a dog over my head.
Uh-oh.
Walking around. I think they needed to do something. So I got up and let them out, and sure enough, it was raining.
Yeah.
So
Does it make them nervous? Maybe that's why he was...
No, except that one dog, Anika, Keith's dog, is so precious, the husky, that she won't walk on the wet grass. She just does her stuff on the sidewalk.
Oh my, little diva.
Doesn't want to get her feet wet.
Little diva.
Yeah, but anyway, so then I opened the window so I could go back to bed and hear the rain. I love that. Love
beautiful.
Yeah.
But it was pretty damp out there. I got a soaker.
When?
In getting into my car from my driveway.
This morning?
Yeah, just like that down our little sidewalk and stepped in the puddle and there was sand under my shoe.
Oh, there's me last night. I spent an hour watering.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
and then it poured.
Well,
they're healthy.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah, yes, Murphy's Law. Mm-hmm. Tim's Law it should be.
Yeah.
You know what?
What?
You know the Headley guy?
Jacob Hogard,
the lead singer,
so.
Charged with 3 different counts of sexual assault.
3 now?
Yeah, and one is with a minor.
I'm like, yeah. Oh, there.
Yeah, so
that's not a good headshot.
No, that's his.
That's not a promo shot for the band. It's his mug shot. His booking shot?
Yes.
That's his booking shot.
And you know what the big kerfuffle is now?
What?
Some people are saying, well, you know what? It's interesting. Mr. Headley got, his what's the name of that picture? The picture you have when you go to the police, they take your...
Mugshot.
Mugshot. You just said that.
I said that earlier.
I missed it. Yeah, sorry. Mugshot. His mugshot was published, boom, like that. And Dennis MacArthur, the serial killer in Toronto, it was weeks before his was. So there's some people on Twitter asking this morning, what makes the police decide to release or not release a mugshot? Right?
Well, I don't know.
I wonder if it's I wonder if it's the sensitivity of the case, but you know what? Sexual assault's pretty darn sensitive.
Yeah, but so is murdering about 8 people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't that interesting?
Luann, you know what? Your mind works in mysterious ways. You worry, you wonder about things that I
do. I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
I just, I thought, why? How come? Boom, like that. He was up.
Well, celebrity.
Yeah.
That's got to be what it is.
I know. Must be, do you think?
Is it the police who, that wasn't released by the police. That was somebody. Who was that holding that picture in that shot?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know either. 3 counts now?
3 counts now.
It started off
from 2016, maybe?
I know one was like luring.
Yes, and there was a young girl, allegedly, who was underage at the time. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any good news for us?
Yeah, you know what?
It's raining,
I do.
It's cloudy.
Florida.
What about Florida?
Cute little, it's so cute. Police officers stopped traffic so that...
yesterday it was a policeman shaving a bum. I shouldn't say that.
Stop it, Timothy. His face.
No.
Not his bum.
A homeless person who was applying for a job. I apologize. That was not nice.
That was not nice.
But yesterday it was a police officer shaving the face of a homeless man so he could apply for a job. Now what have the police done?
Police officers have stopped traffic in Florida to let a mother duck and her 2 little ducklings cross the street safely.
Now, if that were to happen in Sault Ste. Marie, someone would post your tax dollars at work.
No kidding. They would, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Negative Nancy's. So he stopped traffic with the ducks go. Come on.
That's so cute.
That is.
You know what? They're people too, our police officers.
Oh, I thought you meant the ducks. I was like, ducks are people too.
No. Just our police officers. Yeah, they're people too.
Somebody posted a negative remark about the police wearing the rainbow thing.
Really?
On social media. Because the police.
What year is this? 2018. 18. Okay.
It was that. It was your. I think this is like somebody said, "Oh, so it's too much," and your tax dollars at work. Somebody said about a little rainbow police Velcro thing that sticks on their vest, which, by the way, came from another city, I believe, at the last minute.
A progressive city.
A police officer in Sault Ste. Marie. contacted their friends in another city and said, we're waiting for us to come in. They haven't arrived yet. Can we borrow yours? Kind
Good
of
for
thing.
them.
So
And
it's
you know,
not
it's
like,
like
it's
on
not
their-
like it's just Sault Ste. Marie where for Pride the police wear those.
No.
So anyway, it is still Pride Week.
It is, yes.
Yes, it is.
It's wrapping up quickly, though. I can't get over it. It's Thursday already.
It's Thursday already, and then, well, we're going to have Sue Ryan-Mackey back on tomorrow to tell us how things have gone this week, and then
Right.
to tell us about the final events this weekend, because it continues right through Sunday.
Wow, that's a long event.
I know. Well, I know. Good for them.
Yes,
From 2 days to 8 days.
absolutely.
So, and along those lines, because just talking about education and awareness, I'm running a segment today, Luann, where about the curriculum.
This is one that you feel very strongly
I'm pretty passionate about
the
this.
sex ed curriculum.
Absolutely, and the repealing of it and the whatever, and it's still all up in the air. So I spent a little bit of time interviewing some folks locally, and we're going to run that series of interviews this morning.
I have a question for you.
Absolutely.
Do you think that there should be specific sex ed curriculums for the public board and the Catholic board?
Am I allowed to tell my real opinions? Because my opinions
can't
are not
swear.
the opinions of this station.
No, right.
I don't believe in the two-board system.
You don't?
I believe it's a huge duplication of services.
Okay.
A lot of money being, and this is, don't get me wrong. I mean, you'll see, I sat down with Rose Burton-Spawn, who's the Director of Education. I'm not discounting the work that she does or the value of the work. What I'm saying is, in a tax-based system, I don't believe that one religion deserves to be financed over any other. In other words, why do we have a Catholic school system and not a Muslim school system or a Jewish school system? Why aren't those all funded by the government? And the reason, Luann, is because this country, or specifically a lot of this province, was founded by Jesuits, by Catholics. It was the religion, it was the majority religion of our country at the time.
So should that not be acknowledged then, in
What?
your mind?
Should-
That these are our forefathers?
What, the Catholics?
Yes.
Do you want to ask some First Nations people about how they feel about the Catholics coming and turning them into Catholics?
That's an awesome point. That's
Anyway,
an awesome point.
so I'm just saying that I am not a proponent. I do not support the two-board system, so therefore I do not believe that education should be people. If you want to take your child out of a class, absolutely. That I understand that. But I do not think that any religion should dictate what is being taught scientifically or socially in our classrooms. That's my opinion, and that's all I can say.
And do you feel like that will ever change? Because it's
Yes.
been historically,
I
it's
do
been
believe
a
that
long time.
I do believe that the way our society is progressing, and with the influx of immigrants and
Yes.
the changing nature of our country, and the way that religion is going in our country, and the separation of church and state, I do believe that eventually there will no longer be a Catholic school system that is funded by public dollars.
So you figure if...
But it's going to take a major politician to stand up and make that happen.
so
Somebody with a
if
lot of chutzpah.
you figure if a religion wants their own school, they should
Private.
fund it themselves.
Private. When I went to
Right.
St. Mary's College, grade 9 and grade 10, I can't remember how this worked. I think grade 9 and grade 10 were funded by the government and the rest was private. We had to pay for me to get my education at a Catholic high school.
Really?
At the time that I went to
What
St.
a waste of
Mary's.
money.
And religion.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we had to
See, I
pay
didn't
for
have
2
to.
years of the 5 years.
Oh.
And now everything. But then they changed it now and everything is covered. So anyway, you can watch the interviews and judge. Obviously, we all have different opinions.
And you know what? It's one of those issues, and that's what mornings on TV, you know what, we want to have a good time. We want to tell you about what's going on in the community because there's always so much going on in Sault Ste. Marie. But we also talk about the issues and what is going on. And this sex ed, stepping back, is huge.
Huge.
Everybody in every town, in every city in our province is talking about it. So the fact that you have this sort of nailed down as one of your issues this morning is a really, really good thing.
Thank you for your support.
You're
Even if
welcome.
you disagree with me, that's totally cool.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what
absolutely.
it's all about, right?
We're not
Just-
preaching, we're just,
No,
you know.
and once again, this is not by any means, my opinion is not that of ONNtv or Superior Media. This is just Tim Murphy.
Or his co-host. Because I'm objective, I'm supposed to be a news person, so you're not supposed to know how I feel.
me.
Yeah.
So, and then later on today, I have the Norgoma folks coming on.
No, finally.
Well, to give us a little update on what's going on, and
nobody knows, kind of.
They're still up and running. It's still a tourist attraction this summer, still viable. And I mean, I saw people going in there.
Really?
Yeah, when I was downtown for Pride Fest. It was for the walk. It was open. There were people wandering in, so it's open and open for business. So we're going to find out what's going on with the Norgoma. I think that there's still a lot of questions, and some that they're not able to answer at this point. But they're going to come and just tell us what's going on.
The status of.
Exactly.
Because some people think it should go, and some people think it should stay.
Yeah, I don't know how political we're going to get this morning on the Norgoma. I think it's going to be these folks are supporters of the Norgoma that are coming in. So obviously they're going to be saying that they want it to work, whatever the result is.
Yes, absolutely. Lots to look forward to on the show this morning.
Absolutely. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back more Mornings with Luann and Tim right after this. Okay, I'll stay here. In addressing the Ford government's plan to repeal the 2015 sexual health curriculum, I also had a chance to chat with Algoma District School Board Superintendent Marcy Bell to find out if the public board would be likely to amend any of the curriculum should the Ford government force healthcare professionals and educators to go back to the drawing board because of a minority of parents who are uncomfortable with the 2015 syllabus. And I wanted to inquire about her board's take on the idea of repealing the 2015 curriculum. Let's take a look. I'm talking with Marcy Bell, Superintendent from the Algoma District School Board. Thanks for joining us, Marcy.
Thank you for having me.
So we're talking about the curriculum for the physical, it's called Health and Physical Education,
yes,
right?
Yes, correct.
Now that encompasses a whole lot of stuff, right, Marcy?
It does.
You're talking about substance use and misuse, alcohol, tobacco.
Yes, you're talking about active living, you're talking about movement and exercise,
of course,
you're talking
the
about
phys ed that we all
range.
remember. When I was in grade school, in elementary school, high school, we called it phys ed.
Right, correct.
And that's where you would play all the sports and stuff. But there's a component of that curriculum that also includes sexual health.
For sure. In the healthy living component of that, there is the 10%, which is sexual health.
Sexual health. Now, and this is that the area, is it solely the 10% of the curriculum that's being looked at by the current provincial government for reassessment?
Correct.
Okay, so the rest of the curriculum is not going to be touched?
No, that's about the movement and active living.
That all stays the same?
That is going to stay consistent.
Now, and I've spoken to members from the representative from the Huron Superior Catholic District School Board,
yep.
And they felt that when the new curriculum, which was put into place in 2015?
2015.
There was about a 5-year time frame there for between 2010 and 2015 when the consultations were happening.
Correct.
And those consultations, from the perspective of Algoma District School Board, who was at the table?
So there are a range of stakeholders involved, including principals associations, federations, educators, as well. There were parents who were consulted throughout that process.
Okay, and from the Catholic School Board's perspective, it was the Institute for Catholic Education that was involved in that as well.
Correct.
And that's an umbrella organization that represents many factions of the Catholic education system.
Yes.
Now, it sounds to me like the concern here is one of not enough input from the parents.
Right.
And I was asking you about, to your knowledge, I mean, obviously you're a superintendent, you're not involved actively in developing the curriculum.
Correct. The ministry develops the curriculum, and then the school boards, we implement the curriculum.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. But to your knowledge, is there a lot of consultation in other areas of curriculum with parents? For instance, would the Ministry of Education talk to parents about math curriculum or English curriculum, or?
They would do that through different forums or different stakeholder groups, such as the School Board Association, which has representatives from all school boards who represent the parent voice and community voice in their constituencies.
Okay.
And they would also do that through the school councils.
The school councils. Mm-hmm. I forgot about them.
They would, yes.
Yeah, now, so let's say we're going to go back to revisit this curriculum. I've already heard from Public Health and from the Catholic School Board that as far as they're concerned, there would be no changes to their input if they were to go back to the table to be consulted. on curriculum. Would you say that's true also for?
I do feel that our voices were heard and that we provided information to ensure that there's a recognition and awareness for diversity and ensuring that our students are learning about everything that's new in today's society and how things are happening in the world.
Because the 1998 curriculum?
Correct, 20 years old.
Mm-hmm. And at a time when?
There was no internet, there was no social media. The access to information for our students looked very different, and our family dynamics have changed, and our society is definitely being more reflected in current curriculum. Any curriculum that would be 20 years old, would we say it's relevant and responsive to what we're dealing with in society? Any curriculum, we would think that. So exploring and revisiting it is definitely something we should be doing as a province.
Okay. Is there a concern, would you say, from the educators? I mean, you work very closely with all the teachers and the principals.
Yes.
Do you sense a concern about a return to the old curriculum?
Yeah, so I think educators, we take our direction from the ministry and look for the guidelines, but I feel that we want to ensure that all of our students, regardless of orientation, gender, identification, race, ethnic origin, whatever curriculum, they're being reflected, and it's valuing and recognizing all of those individuals. So I believe that our commitment is to equity and inclusive education and really honoring the Charter of Human Rights. And so we feel that we want to continue to do that in whatever curriculum it is, so I think we want to continue moving forward.
And finally, I met with Dr. Marlene Spruitt from Algoma Public Health to get the perspective of a healthcare professional on the government's decision to repeal the 2015 curriculum, and to find out if they'd been consulted about the repeal of the curriculum, considering public health had been consulted during the process of developing the curriculum. Let's see what Dr. Spruitt had to say. I'm here at Algoma Public Health, speaking with Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Marlene Spruitt. Welcome, Marlene.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Nice to be back at APH again. And talking about the curriculum, sexual health curriculum, that has, it's recently been announced by the Conservative government that they are rolling back the curriculum to what was the previous curriculum. I think it was 1998 was the year, the last time it was revised. Up until 2015, that was the most recent revision. Is that correct?
Right. There's a curriculum that was developed in 1998. It was in place until 2015 when they rolled out a new curriculum.
Right. And that curriculum has been in place now, obviously, for 3 years. And it was part of Mr. Ford's platform, Premier Ford now, his platform to roll back that curriculum, either revisit it or completely replace it. They haven't announced yet which direction they're going. Is that right?
My understanding is that they have revoked the current curriculum and they are reverting to the
right back
1998
to
when they have not replaced it with anything yet.
Okay. And I don't know if they're planning on replacing it or if that hasn't been announced yet.
I'm not party to their plans.
Okay. So obviously you knew that this party was in power and this was something that he had discussed. Were you prepared for this announcement?
I'm not sure that we were prepared for the announcement. I think we were aware that was a possibility, as all promises from all campaigns are.
You never know
what you're actually going to have to deal with.
Exactly. When the new curriculum, meaning the 2015 curriculum, was introduced, there was great support from many agencies. They had consulted with thousands of different people, whether they were teachers, parents. I know I believe the Catholic Education Institute for Catholic Education, Ontario Healthy Schools Coalition, Ontario Physical Health and Education. These were all consulted on the new curriculum. I don't know whether Public Health was as an agency.
A number of representations from public health in the province were on committees that were consulted. There was lots and lots of input from all the parties that were involved. And that consultation went on from about 2010 to 2015. It was lengthy. Whoa. It was years of consultation before they actually landed on the 2015 curriculum.
That many years in development?
That many years.
That I did not know.
And that occurred because there were parental concerns expressed at that time. Mm-hmm. So they did further consultation with parents and tweaked the curriculum a little bit and then came up with the 2015 version.
Right. And there was great support for it when it was first rolled out.
I think there's still great support for it, except for a small minority.
Okay. And so the small minority right now is the voice that seems to be in power, though.
Or they have the ear of the party that's in power.
Is it going to be difficult to to fight this? I mean, and I not that it's your role to fight anything. Your role is to advocate for a healthy community.
Correct, and I think we're quite happy to work with the current government and develop a new curriculum that will meet some of the needs that we think need to be put in place, as well as keep people's concerns at bay.
Right. Some of the concerns I personally have would be the fact that this curriculum, the 1998 curriculum, was developed before same-sex marriage was legal in our province.
And before we had the internet.
And before we had the internet.
Before we had social media.
And
before we had texting and sexting and many, many things that children are exposed to now.
Right. So times have changed. And the curriculum had changed to reflect those changes, and now we're going back. So I can imagine that there's concern from educators as well. So as far as the decision to go back to the old curriculum, I'm guessing that there was not a lot of consultation from the government to these different agencies who were involved in the first place.
Correct.
Yes.
There was, to my knowledge, no consultation. It was a decision we're going to take this one out, and the only thing we can fall back on is the pre-existing one of 1998.
Okay. And is there any concern about negative impact in this community? Because from my perspective, this is a reduction in awareness and education. And public health is all about awareness and education, upstream prevention, letting people know about what risks are there so that they can deal with them before it happens. It's all about staying safe before something happens. Now, we're taking this program back, is there concern that that education component being removed is going to increase any of the rates that we have in our community about teenage pregnancy or the spread of STIs? I believe we have normally higher than provincial averages in this Northern Ontario community, in our area, in the district. We sit somewhere probably in the top 5 for teenage pregnancies in the province,
yep.
And also for STI prevalence in the community.
Would be about there.
Mm-hmm. So, is there a concern about that?
There's some concern. Education and information that kids get through the school is only one place they get information. So hopefully we can provide alternative places that they can receive education by visiting their healthcare providers, visiting public health, sexual health clinics, reading reliable content on the internet, and there is some. The Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists has a sexuality and use site that's very informative and balanced. So we're hoping that many kids will still be savvy enough to find out the information they need, because they're not going to be able to get it through the school system.
Any plans to maybe have sexual health workshops or anything? You haven't really had time to consider options, have you?
We haven't really had time to consider options,
right.
Exactly.
But you have a great sexual health team at Algoma Public Health.
We have a very well-informed team.
Very well-informed team of nurses, and they are in the schools as well.
We have rolling out new school health teams with the new standards, yes.
Oh, all right. So that's another way that kids can stay informed, is just to visit their sexual health nurses in their schools, right?
The sexual health nurses will not be doing one-on-one stuff with students in the schools. That's not how the school program will work. It's
right.
Supporting the resources in the schools and supporting the teachers and building healthier school communities.
I suppose I should have phrased that differently. If anybody had a question, though, there is a public health nurse who's available in a school.
Who would be available in an indirect route.
Right, and then could provide them with resources.
Could provide the teachers and the principals and the parents with resources, but won't be interacting directly with the children.
Not with the children?
That's not how this program is rolling out.
Okay, I understand.
So in that interview you just saw, I heard for the first time that public health agencies have implemented the new 2018 Ontario Public Health Standards, which, as Dr. Spruitt wrote in a follow-up email, quote, shifts their work even more to population-based interventions rather than individual interactions to minimize duplication with services provided by the healthcare system. In other words, public health nurses in the schools no longer directly engage with students on sexual health issues. Now, that news heightened my concern about reduction to sexual health education and awareness in elementary and secondary school health and physical education curriculum. So, my next step will be to contact our member of Provincial Parliament, Ross Romano, to see if he sides with Ford and his socially conservative base, or with the majority of constituents who don't see any need for the repeal of sexual health education. So, stay tuned. We'll be back with more Mornings with Luann and Tim right after this. I've been talking a lot lately about Ontario Premier Doug Ford following through on his election promise to repeal the 2015 sexual health curriculum from Ontario's health and physical education syllabus. Mr. Ford's victory as the leader of Ontario's Progressive Conservative Party was no doubt influenced by his pandering to social conservatives who took issue with the 2015 curriculum because it includes age-appropriate education on topics like same-sex parenting, masturbation, the risks surrounding social media like sexting, gender identity, homosexuality, and the warnings about sexually transmitted infections being spread through unprotected vaginal, oral, and anal sex. While the 2015 curriculum is 239 pages long and took 5 years to develop, in consultation with teachers, educators, and healthcare professionals, some 70 healthcare organizations, and no less than 4,000 parents, the 1998 syllabus is 42 pages long and does not include LGBT issues, consent, or cyber safety, and contains only one mention of the World Wide Web. There has not been a consistent message coming out of Queen's Park about what will be actually taught this fall when school resumes, and as recently as Tuesday of this week, there were still no definitive answers from the Minister of Education or from Premier Ford himself, who said on the floor of the chamber this week, quote, "We don't believe in the nanny state. We don't believe in politicians dictating to the people," unquote. So, was it really politicians who dictated the 2015 syllabus to the Ministry of Education? I invited Rose Burton-Spawn, Director of Education for the Huron Superior Catholic District School Board, and Sister Pat, who acts as the Religious and Family Life Consultant for the same board, to talk with me about the 2015 curriculum and whether or not they felt, as Catholic educators, their board was well represented in the drafting of the new curriculum. So let's start with you, Rose, about the curriculum itself that you've been delivering since 2016. That's been going well for you?
Yes, in fact, we've been delivering family life programming in our board and across Catholic education for over 30 years. Wow. And so this is not particularly new to us as Catholic educators. We always deliver what the province establishes as the curriculum, but we do so through a Catholic lens, and we recognize that parents are the first teachers of their children. So we certainly educate our students while they are with us, but parents are with their children a much longer time than what we are. So
fair enough, and that you said that when we were off camera. Parents are the first educators, and that hits home. That's very, very true. Sister Pat, as far as curriculum goes, when they were developing this new curriculum, and it's my understanding after talking to Dr. Spruitt from Algoma Public Health, it was about a 5-year process from 2010 to 2015, putting the current curriculum together. And it's not just sexual health, it's the entire health and physical education curriculum that has been worked on. And there was input from thousands of people, and from the Catholic perspective, from a group that is ICE, which stands for
Institute for Catholic Education.
So the Institute for Catholic Education works with the government and the Ministry of Education in contributing to the development of the curriculum.
Correct. And there are several partners that are on the curriculum team of ICE. There are representatives from the principals, the teachers, the bishops, the trustees, the supervisory officers. They work together and they create or edit, massage the curriculum that's in place so that it's representing the curriculum that is given to us from the Ministry of Education, but offered through a Catholic lens. So we don't teach sexuality in elementary school as a health class, but we teach it as part of the religious education program, taking up 20% of the religious ed program. And it's called Fully Alive.
Fully Alive, and you've been delivering a version of Fully Alive for how long then?
Over 30 years.
Over 30 years. So you kept the Fully Alive and then just implemented the new curriculum into the existing program.
Exactly.
And that's rolled out well for you.
Absolutely.
So I guess from my perspective, when they talk about going back into consultation, it really is, Premier Ford, I guess, is looking for consultation from parents more. I think he felt that the parents were underrepresented. Certainly the educators were not in the process of putting together this curriculum. Would you say that that's fair to say?
Yes, I think think that there would have been educators who were consulted, probably educators that sit on provincial committees so that they're well versed in the curriculum, in the programs that we offer. And they would have worked with the bishops and with all the other partners to create a revised curriculum. It wasn't new, it was just revised.
And, and I'm not sure in terms of parent consultation, I don't think can speak to how many parents were or were not consulted in the previous round of curriculum revisions. What we can say is that we were certainly consulted on that, as ICE, Institute for Catholic Education, was certainly involved in these pieces.
I didn't ask you this in advance, and I hope I don't put anybody on the spot. Was there negative reaction from people, or was there concern voiced locally here when the new curriculum came out? Did you experience that?
Well, we worked with Algoma Public Health on a presentation called The Birds, the Bees, and Beyond. And there was an opportunity for parents to come in to hear from both the health unit and the Catholic School Board about how we were going to implement the new curriculum. There were pockets of concern, especially in Elliott Lake. And so we had that forum in order to address those.
Are parents, did they have the right to ask that their child not be present in these particular lesson plans where there is some contention?
They are. It's the only curriculum that parents are allowed to withdraw their child during sexual education.
And the way that you roll out the curriculum, it's very plain when these classes are going to happen. The parents know in advance.
The parents get a letter so that if the conversation at supper time turns into, something unexpected, the parents have a sense that why the child is asking the questions they're asking.
All right. Listen, thank you for coming in and sharing this. I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to share with me. Sister, just talking about when science meets faith. I thought you had a very interesting perspective on that. Could you just share that with me briefly?
Some people think that they're separate components, but from the Catholic perspective, we believe that they support one another.
Okay.
So I'm a science teacher, I'm a religion teacher, and I'm always happy to bring the two together.
Very interesting. Stay tuned. We have more coming up after this break on Mornings with Luann and Tim. Welcome back to Mornings with Luann and Tim. Hi.
Hi. You know what happened yesterday? Something so awesome.
Good. What?
Science is crazy.
Nuts.
17 years after the fact, a victim from 9/11, a bone fragment was identified. So the family now has closure.
Are you kidding me?
17 years later.
Wait, where was that bone fragment for 17 years? Do they still have all that stuff? Are they still sorting through stuff?
They're analyzing stuff. 1,100 people have not been identified.
I had
17 years later.
Oh, I had no idea.
Isn't that crazy?
1,100 have not been accounted for. Just, I guess, assumed, obviously, but no record of that.
No record of them. Nothing to be found
Science
in this small
is
bone
amazing.
Fragment. Imagine the relief for that poor family.
Wow.
26 years old, he was.
Oh.
Such a loss. Oh my God, isn't that phenomenal?
Did you hear that ISIS tried to claim responsibility for the shooting in Toronto on the Danforth, which was not the case at all.
No, he had nothing to do with that.
ISIS.
ISIS. Are you that desperate, ISIS?
They're they're on their last legs, I hear. That's what the news is saying.
Jeez, we can only hope.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But that is something, though.
Isn't it?
Science.
Science is phenomenal.
I never liked science. Did you?
No.
Were you good at science?
No, I was so bad. I was a language person.
Language?
Yeah.
I was
math.
arts.
Yeah, math.
I was good at math.
Were you?
Until it got into what's the
fractions?
one? No, fractions. I'm good.
Oh yeah.
Fractions in music.
Oh.
Quarter note, half note, 16th note, all thirds. You know what I mean? It was. Yeah.
I don't do music.
Well, because if you think music was a science, did you know that?
No.
Music was considered a science way back. I learned that from Paul Dingle, who taught me piano.
So he knows.
He knows everything.
You know what? Just before we go to the next segment, I wanted to remind everybody to watch tonight on TV, 7 o'clock live. We're doing a show, Trudeau versus Trump. Who do you like better? We're going to have some panelists here who back up each one of those men. Lynn Brown from our Sioux Online team.
Is Lynn going to come on camera?
Content manager is going to come on and give us her opinions.
On what? Which one is she? Who's she?
I don't know.
We don't. Oh, we're going to find. Oh, we have to tune in to find out. What time? 7?
7 o'clock.
You got to come back to work tonight?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I'll watch you from home.
All right, good. I thought maybe you'd come in and keep me company, but apparently not.
No, I'm going to sit down at my table and have a nice big meal and relax with my puppies while the rain comes down and you work.
Okay, sounds perfect to me, right?
Maybe Jim and I'll get together and have dinner together.
You know what? You should, because God
we're
knows
both
he never
bachelors
eats.
tonight then.
Yeah, definitely. You're both bachelors.
Okay, so I'm going to come back after the commercial break with Derek Pierce. Derek is on the board of the St. Mary's River Heritage Marine Center thing. Derek is one of the guys who volunteers this time to make the Norgoma function as a tourist attraction. And there's a lot of them.
And he's running for city council.
So we're going to talk a little bit just about what's going on in the Norgoma these days. It's staying put for now, and they're having a good year, as a matter of.
Oh, good.
I know it is. It's good news.
That's awesome to hear.
So I know that there are people who think that it shouldn't be there, but let's hear what Derek has to say.
Let's hear.
So stay tuned on Mornings with Luann and Tim. We'll be right back after this brief message. So Derek Pierce, thanks for coming in again to ONNtv.
Anytime.
You're becoming quite the media celebrity these days.
Trying to.
Ward 1 you're running for City Council.
Yes.
Best of luck with that.
Thank you.
But today you're wearing your Norgoma hat.
I am. I'm in full Norgoma garb today.
Full Norgoma garb because you are a board member of the, now let me say it right, St. Mary's River Heritage
Marine Center.
Yeah. I was this close. How long have you been on the board, Derek?
Since about 3 months now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of new members on the board?
There are. I think there's 3 original members,
okay,
if I remember correctly, and the rest are new, younger, more energized people, which is awesome because it's giving us that new spark to get things going.
So let's go back to when the Norgoma first came to Sault Ste. Marie, just because there's some history there that actually you got to meet Ron Irwin.
Yeah.
Ron Irwin was at one time a member of Parliament for Sault Ste. Marie.
He was the mayor.
He was the mayor of Sault Ste. Marie. Ron and Brady Irwin is his son, who's very politically active as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Ron, tell me the story.
Yeah. So the other day we were on the boat and this gentleman came on. He was looking around and he looked like he had a very good idea of what was going on there. And then he came up to the desk and introduced himself, and it was Ron Irwin, the former mayor, and he was telling us about how he was instrumental in getting the Norgoma here and all that stuff. So that was interesting. I was like, it's always nice to meet former members of government. So
and so Ron would know better than anybody what the original intention was to bring the Norgoma here, to be a museum ship, to be a tourist attraction, to upgrade and maintain.
Yeah.
And there have been some struggles.
There have been, but we got a fresh coat of paint on the boat now. It's not looking so rusty anymore.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Who painted it?
Purvis Marine, I believe.
Jack and the gang.
Yeah. And they did a fantastic job. It looks beautiful.
He's a real community-minded guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been involved since the beginning, I think.
Purvis has.
Yeah. As far as when I've gone through the archives or whatever, his name's popped up many times.
Now, so status quo right now, right? It's not going anywhere.
As far as we know, as of right now, it's not going anywhere. We have been evicted by the city.
Okay,
so they've given us a date
evicted
in September sometime.
Oh, what happens in September?
That's when they say we have to be out.
Okay,
but nothing's in motion yet.
Okay, we don't know where we're going yet?
We don't. We're still investigating sites, talking to people, but we don't have anywhere set in stone.
No plans on the books to sell it to somebody else?
Well, they can't sell it because they
They
don't
don't own it because
we own it. Yeah, it's owned by
you
our
bought it for $1.
We did.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody was, I think it was Lorna Rudolph was a lawyer who was talking about the fact that, oh, well, you know, there's a clause in there where you could, there's something about a clause where you could, I forget how it works. Oh, she said if they went to court, they could probably say, listen, we can still sell it because it doesn't balance out. But then the city put $15,000 a year into it, so really how
But
they could say
haven't for many years.
For many
now.
years?
Yeah, I can't know the specific. Like I don't know the specifics off the top of my head, but I don't think we've gotten any funding from them for a couple of years.
And you guys are doing okay now.
We are.
Tell me about the difference between last year and this year.
At one point last year, I think we made $1,500 an operating season.
In the operating in the whole
so
season,
that's
$1,500.
June to September.
Okay.
This year we did $1,500 our opening day.
One day.
One day, Canada Day.
Canada Day, you guys made.
We killed it.
You killed it, and you made as much as you made last year.
Yeah, and we had over, I think 500 people on board. We had firework viewing from the deck.
Tell me about some of the other stuff that's coming.
Yeah, so
you guys have great. I mean, maybe it's the younger blood that's infused in here, but some great stuff. Tell me.
So we have open mic on Tuesdays.
So the Gore Street Cafe is no longer in existence, right?
Yeah.
So they've shifted open mic to the Norgoma.
Yeah, and it's been well received. We've had tons of people come in.
What night, sorry?
Tuesday.
Tuesday nights on the Norgoma.
6 to 10, yeah.
From 6 to 10, open mic on the Norgoma.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah, so that's one go-to. We have a night market on Thursdays.
Okay, I had no idea.
Yeah.
A night market on Thursday nights on the Norgoma.
Yeah, so they have fresh produce.
Is that
and
also
stuff like
Nicole?
That. I think so.
From formerly of the Gore Street Cafe.
Yeah, so she's involved, and then it's pay what you can. So you come on, whatever they have there, you pay what you can. Fresh produce. They've taken up our cold room storage to store stuff, and they're doing fantastic.
So what do you mean pay what you can?
You just come in, you pay whatever you can.
So is this a food equity thing? Is this one of those? I think
it might not
Nicole's
be.
Nicole's very involved.
It might not be directly connected, but it's definitely it helps out those who are hurting on the budget. So
no kidding. Yeah, that's got to be. I know because Nicole was very involved with that food security.
Yeah, and that's
the food security network. It was United Way and Mike Delphi.
These
that whole
things
thing.
are great.
Amazing, and then partying.
And then Rock the Boat is on this Saturday, so we're having
this coming Saturday.
Yes,
July 28th.
3 to 10. So we're having Outspoken Brewery is going to be on our first deck. So it's going to be a licensed deck for that. We're going to have other alcoholic beverages too.
So you're licensed on the main floor for that?
On the main floor,
yeah. My gosh.
On
and then what's on the third floor?
Third deck, we're going to have vendors. So they rented out the cabins, and we're going to have vendors in.
Oh my gosh!
And then live music as well.
Bands?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Norgoma is still alive and well and kicking. You guys are not going anywhere right now. I mean, you might not yet. So for the rest of the summer, why not check out what's going on?
Exactly, and coming down and showing your support, that's all you can do. That's
right.
If we make enough, that allows us to do even more improvements than what we've done
Rather
so far.
than complaining about it being there, maybe go down and check it out.
Yeah, and we've invited the members of council, so come on down.
That's going to be interesting to see what happens with you.
Yeah.
All right, listen, we got to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Derek, thank you for coming in. I've learned a lot about the Norgoma and what's going on this summer, and I really do hope that people do check it out. So we'll be back to say goodbye with Luann right after this message from our commercial sponsors. Stay with us.
If the boats are rocking, come a knocking. The Norgoma, my goodness.
I thought, you know what, honestly, I thought it was dead in the water.
Me too.
But it's not.
Isn't that awesome?
I think it is. I'm undecided.
I am too.
If it's gonna, I understand why people don't want it there, but I really do hope that it moves and stays active.
Yes.
Come on, I mean, it is historical. I think that it's worth the investment. I'm sorry. That's my personal opinion. I think it's worth the investment.
You think it's worth putting the money into it?
I think that there are other things that could happen with that ship as well. I mean, if there's a guy in Chicago who says that he can put $500,000 into it and get it to work again and travel the Great Lakes as a ship, if he can do it, why can't we do it in Canada? Why are we handing one of our ships off, selling it to an American to turn it into...
$500,000 you said, right?
Well, I don't know. There's got to be somebody out there who likes boats, who's got a lot of money.
Anybody?
I don't know. What about Mario Lemieux? He's selling his mansion.
Wow!
He's
call
selling
him right
his
now.
mansion for $22 million in Quebec. Couldn't he come over and help us with the... Mario, you're a hockey player. We're a hockey town. Give us your money.
Give us your money. That's all. Here.
all I
Don't
want.
forget to watch 7 o'clock tonight live. TNT, we're calling it. Trudeau or Trump? Who do you like? We're going to have a panelist talking about who's better, who's not so good, and why.
Why they support those people, and I'm going to tune in to find out who stands where.
Yes, it'll be fun.
Okay, have fun moderating.
Thank you.
We'll see you at 7 o'clock tonight with Luann on TV, and tomorrow on Mornings with Luann and Tim.